Sky Squad, we are back in the building, and as you guys can see, we have another star from OWN's hit show, Love and Marriage DC. We have Ashley Silva in the building.
Hello,
Okay.
hello, hello, hello.
So you know what's funny? I have been wanting to have a conversation with you since I saw you guys at Good Day DC. I knew in my mind I wanted to do it, but as the season kept going on, I was like, I really want Ashley around the time of the reunion.
I was waiting. I was waiting for you to hit me up, and you didn't.
No, I knew because for me it was like I knew that we could have conversations about things as they were, but I
Mm,
think we got to know so much more about you as the season went on,
yeah,
and to see a journey in your story arc, you really truly had one.
yeah.
I wanted to wait until I had the questions that I felt like people would want to know the answers to.
Okay.
So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay. I have asked everybody this, but reality TV, like I heard on Carlos King, you talked about Bad Girls Club. How was that going to work for you?
Like I told you, I said on there I was embarrassed. I should have never said it because so many people were asking me about it this week. Literally, when I went and got my hair braided, my hair braider was watching the Baddies South that Natalie like produces, and I was looking at them like, oh my god, like yo, that would have been me. Like, this is crazy as I don't know what. But yeah, I think I was 23, 24. And I just was like, I wanted to be on TV. And when, someone asked me to like send in, I don't remember if I had to do an audition tape or just like send in an email, but I did. And when they called me and emailed me, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And at this time, it hadn't been a lot of Black girls on there yet.
Okay.
So, the fights that were on there before have been more like name calling, hair pulling. But that season, I feel like changed it. It was like fist fight, brawls, drag you down the steps, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm happy I didn't do it now. Now I'm very happy I didn't do it.
But can you imagine, like, looking back on it, what do you think you would have done in that situation?
I would have been fist fighting, brawling, dragging down the steps. That's what I would have been doing. So I'm very happy I did not do that. I could not imagine like just waking up now one day, somebody being like, girl, season whatever Bad Girls Club is on. No.
No, you would have pulled a Natalie and been directing.
Yeah, and that's
Okay,
the
like
that's the thing. Natalie, will say whatever you want to say about her, but like, yeah, now she has like all her producer credits over at Zeus, and still making money from it. So, child, if I had to do it, that would be the way I would want it to go.
well, you have your own things that you are in ownership of now,
Yeah,
but we'll get to those things in a little bit. So you ain't missing nothing.
yeah,
Um,
no.
were you married? Were you married at the time that you were considering this?
We were engaged, so I felt like they were going to be filming during the time of our wedding, and that's why like once they like gave me the dates, I was like, oh well, I'm going to be getting married, so.
What was Ashley like pre-marriage? Like, cause you talk, I mean, your story is really one that calls back to a time period before, but we really don't know who that Ashley was. So imagine, like, again, the surprise, Bad Girls.
Yeah.
So what was that Ashley like compared to now?
That Ashley was a lot like the same Ashley that you see
Okay.
now. Except for I was an extreme, no, I won't say extreme. I was a hothead. I still feel like sometimes I'm a hothead. I said whatever I want. A lot of times now I still say whatever I want. So I mean, there's a little difference. I think a slight maturity, but for the most part, my entire life, my mom will tell you, I've talked shit my entire life. I don't shut up my entire life. She has still to this day, she is upset with me because she's like, you should have been a lawyer. All you want to do is argue with people, or you don't never shut up. So Ashley has always been a lot like the Ashley you guys are seeing on TV. It's not an act. It's not a character. That's exactly who I am.
That's what I loved about you the most. I felt like, and I could be wrong, but whatever you see with Ashley is whatever you get. Like whatever
Yeah.
mood you were in. When I first met you, I was like, I
I
don't
was in a
think
bad mood
she.
that day.
I know, and I was like, I don't think she's in a bad mood. But then when I saw that you had like sent me the photo of me, I was like, oh, okay. So clearly, I was like, you cleared that up with me later, just about having
Yeah.
to do so much. But I was like, what I like about that is that you are just you, and that comes across on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and I, when we decided to do this, I have met people who are in reality TV before, and they are someone completely different than who they are on the screen. I was like, that's not who I want to be. So the day I'm in a bad mood, if you see me in a bad mood on TV, I want you to be like, oh yeah, when she's in a bad mood, that's how she is. Like, so I just wanted to be that same person that anybody would meet, and they would be like, yeah, Ashley's like that.
But you know what though? That's not the totality of you though, because later on that night when I saw you, you are also
Yeah,
the
I went
the
home and
party.
got a nap, and I felt better. Exactly. When I saw you that morning, hey, I'm not a morning person. Everybody knows that I'm not a morning person because I am up late all the time. I go to sleep around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So Quake is
Girl,
like,
what are we doing up at that time?
I don't know. Okay, I'm probably watching some murder fucking show that calms me so I can go to sleep.
Why? Yo, I do the same thing.
Yes,
Like
like I
Criminal
go come home from
Minds.
the club, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my god, have you ever heard of this serial killer?" Because
I
and
love
it's
it.
like I'll see something on Instagram about him, and then I'm like, or I'll be watching like a Lifetime movie, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a true story." Now I'm on the internet, now I'm down a rabbit hole. Now I found a documentary. Now I'm like, "Oh my god, I done watched 3, 4, and 5 hours of about a psychopath," and I'm like obsessed. So that's
I,
usually how my night goes. Like when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna watch some TV before I go to bed, and I go down somebody's rabbit hole.
I love that. You talked about like you kind of knowing or really kind of I think you mentioned talking to other people in reality TV. There's been, I think, you and a connection with Potomac. How do you feel like you would have fit with those ladies? Because I know you have those relationships. I mean,
Um,
personally, I think you would have brought something like the show would be a lot different. I think if you were
yeah,
on.
I think the show would be a lot different. But I just don't know exactly where I would have fit in. Even on the later seasons when Candace and Monique both were trying to get me on there. I used to always say, like, if I went on a reality show, I wanted to be there first or second season. I feel like after that, it's kind of hard because people already have their favorites. People already, have their bonds, and everybody's clicked up or grouped up or whatever it is. And I was like, I never wanted to come in after that. So when I met Candace and Monique months within each other. I think like 4 or 5 months from within each other. So I wasn't like super close to either one of them. They were equally cool. But then as Monique was trying to get me to film more, that's like when her and Candace like were having their issues and stuff. And I felt like in that situation, I kind of just would have probably been in the middle of it because I was friendly with both of them. And I kind of feel like they both needed that because I felt like on that season, it was like you're either all the way Team Candace or all the way Team Monique. So that's just where I feel like I would have fit in with them. As far as the other ladies, I don't know, child. I don't know. I don't know. I just sometimes be watching it like, I just be letting these people talk to y'all like this. And I think I would have had a moment where I'd be like, who the hell are they talking to?
That's why I said I think it would be a different show because I think you kind of got what you wanted. You
Yeah.
are on a franchise that you are starting fresh, and so there is no group for you to break into. You're already the group. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, God worked on that one.
Yeah.
With regards to filming this show, did you have to think about it for a minute, or were you just kind of like, "Yo, let's do it"?
About like actually signing up to do the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I was more on board again, like I already went through casting processes before. So I was like, I just didn't want to get my hopes up high for this and then not do it. And then but this one being more so about the marriage and not just the ladies, I was like, now I'm gonna have to really convince Quick to do it. So that was more so the hard part, like me asking him like, okay, because he was like, when I want to do Housewives, he's like, fine, I only have to be in and out. But with this one, I was like, well, you are, main cast as well. They'll be asking about your life. They'll be following you. So that was kind of a little hard because Quick we like to call ourselves like publicly private. And with this, it was like, now you got to be public. So that was the hardest part, trying to like get Quick on board.
So once you did get him on board, I know, and I talked to Jamie about this. I said, reality TV is a thing where it requires all of you, right? And if you don't give all of you, we will know.
Mm-hmm.
Was that easy for you?
For me, it's super easy to give all of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I am I hate being like, oh, I'm an open book. I'm so transparent. But, I do feel like that. I feel like there's, I'll talk about anything. I'll discuss anything. I don't really, there's not really anything that's really off limits. And I think I've been like that my entire life. So that was super easy.
Okay. And what about for Quick? Was it the same for him?
No, in general, it hasn't been like that for Quick. But because I am so open, I feel like I've had him in like reality TV boot camp for years. And I'm like, you got to open up more. You got to talk more. Like, you can't just say this and leave it there. And that's why now sometimes when Quick we talk about it, so I'll be like, okay, damn, I ain't mean for you to talk that damn much. Like, and I feel like he done ran with it. He just talk. So.
Do you feel like the show overall has helped you guys through any, I don't know, I don't really feel like you came into the relationship with issues, but I do think that as you go through this process, things come up.
Yeah. Again, yeah. I mean, I feel like especially on the show, our main issue was like Quick working so much. He still works as much as he always did. I mean, like, Quick is just going to be somebody who's going to work and work and work. Like, he comes home every day and tells me about something new that's going on or happening. So that is still an issue. It will probably never change. But right now I'm super busy too. So I feel like maybe it's kind of taking a little bit of weight off of him because I've been so busy.
Okay. So in terms of, this is something else I also wanted to talk about that I didn't know or realize at the beginning of the season that you would really dive into. You talked about depression. For me, that's it's an interesting topic because I feel like I've gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
How did it manifest itself for you? And then when did you first kind of start realizing like something is not right?
When I was a teenager, I probably was like 16, 17 years old. And I literally remember saying to myself, I forget what was going on, but I was like, I should be happy. Like, I should feel all this joy. And I felt nothing. And at that time, I didn't know what it was. And just over the years, that feeling, it grew. And then after I had kids, it grew. Being married, it grew. And I just started feeling like I didn't even know who I was anymore. And I was always someone who felt very sure of myself, knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then I got to a point where I just was like, I don't know who the fuck I am. And then I know like a lot of what do they call it? Like what is it? Like Kurt Cobain, like all of them died at like 27. I remember when my 27th birthday was approaching, I just felt, I was like, I cannot get it together. It was like the hardest year of my life. It's the same year, that's the year Britney Spears shaved her head when she turned 27. I was like, I don't know what the hell it is about 27, but that shit like rocked my world. And at this time I had an entertainment blog, and I was waiting on an interview that I had been promised, and I was waiting on it this particular day. And then the time came and went. I heard nothing. So I ended up never doing an interview. And I just remember just being so sad. And I felt like my entire life was over. And I was crying. I was crying for like 2 days straight. And Quick and I so happened to have doctor's appointments the next day. And when we got there, I had like sunglasses on. And my doctor's like, what the fuck is going on with you? And I was like, I'm fine. And she's like, to X quick to step out. So I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm like beating my ass. And then, she was like, well, what's wrong? I was like, no, I'm just having a bad day. And then I bust out crying again. And then I'm like, just talking. And she's like, okay, you're depressed. And I was like, yeah, I felt like I was, but I didn't know how to really ask for help in the sense of, because when I first had my son, I remember telling my mom, I was like, I just feel like something's off. I don't feel right. And my mom was like, girl, everybody goes through that. And I was like, okay. And then years went by, and it never got better. And I just feel like, as Black people, we sweep it under the rug, and then my mom is telling me like everybody goes through that. So I'm like, okay. But I knew something was wrong. And I'm like, because physically it doesn't appear, then people are like, oh, you're okay. And I was like, I'm not okay. Like something had to give. So at that time I was referred to like a psychiatrist who I hated. And then I quit and I was like, I'm not doing psychiatry. And then I started taking psychology classes because I'm someone who thinks I know everything, I can do everything. I was like, I'm gonna just heal my damn self. But after a while, I did start going. I found, I think I went through 2 or 3 psychiatrists before I found like, someone who I feel like fit with me. And I feel like a lot of times with things like psychiatrists, like you want to go to one appointment and it's like, I'm supposed to be healed. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. So it took years and years and years to heal. And then I feel like a part of my healing was me being so open about it, talking about it, because so many other people are dealing with it too. And I just, every single day, like someone hits me or sends me a message, about what they're dealing with. And, they're just happy that I can open up about it. And that really means a lot to me because I feel like so many people are just suffering in silence.
I know that you talked about the book that you wrote, Do That Shit. So when I guess to put things into perspective, like did having to address these things on the show sort of push you or propel you to finish the book? Because I know that you said you had been working on it for a while, but I mean, I know how that process goes when you're trying to write something. It can take you a long time, and especially if you're dealing with anxiety or depression, it almost makes you stop.
And that was the thing. While I was at times when I would write, it would trigger and it would take me back. And I literally would say, I cannot write and tell somebody how to heal. I'm not healed. But what I have learned is I always say like healing isn't linear. It's not like you just go and it stops and then everything's perfect. Like it's a roller coaster. Like some days I feel amazing and some days still I have really low days. But now when I have my low days, I know like don't live there. And it's okay to like feel sad or cry or whatever, but I can't live there. Before, when I had those days, I would stay in the bed for days at a time. I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. I wouldn't want to leave out my house. And now I don't do that. Like I know like where that leads me and I don't want to be back in that place. So,
go ahead. No, that's amazing that you say that because I feel like that's one of the things that I think has helped me the most is like, understanding, like you said, what those triggers are and then trying to reprogram your mind to do things differently.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was also like writing down in a gratitude journal. And what I realized is your book is kind of a hybrid, right?
Yeah. So it's a lot of my stories and a journal at the same time because that's what worked for me was journaling, like writing down my feelings. And then that's how I learned my triggers. Like this happened, like, cause before if I would get angry or sad or something, I just would be like, I don't know what made me angry or sad. But then when I started journaling, I was like, okay, well, this is what happened. This is what triggered. This is why it triggered me. How can I work through this? And so journaling was huge for me. It's still huge for me. I write down everything. I remember, I think on one of the episodes, it was like one of the YouTube clips and I was like writing and somebody was like, she ain't got no computer, but I prefer to like actually like handwrite, It just feels more raw, more authentic to me. Like, it's grammar issues is, everything's spelled wrong when I could look at it and tell I was mad as hell that day when I was writing, I could look at it and tell when I had some time, when I was calm. So I like that because it like evokes real emotion. That's one of my favorite things to do. And like you said, gratitude, even though we all know that, like we don't really practice it as much as we should. And I love like The Secret and The Magic. And what they told me, like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm so grateful that I have $1 billion. It's things like recently it was a storm here a couple of weeks ago, and my neighborhood entire power was out for 2 days. And like little things like that, I'm so glad I get to wake up every day and turn my lights on, you know what I mean? And have running
Mhm.
clean water. Just being grateful for every little thing in your life. And I feel like at this point I am just so grateful for every single thing. Like every single day I wake up. Me and God, we have our 2 conversations at nighttime and in the morning. And I just tell them like, thank you. Even when I'm like running late, I was just telling somebody about this. I was running late somewhere, and at first I was so stressed, and I was like, it's fine, let it go. As soon as I got to the light, there was an accident that had happened like 2 minutes before, and
See?
I was like, see, that's why I was late.
Everything has a purpose. Everything
Yes.
has a purpose. I do want to shift gears just a little bit to talk about your feelings on the overall season of Love and Marriage DC. Now that you have lived it and now
Mm.
that you have watched it,
Yeah.
what has been the most exciting and then what has been the most disappointing aspect?
Overall, watching the show, I mean, it has been really exciting watching the show. I remember the first day, I think it was like 2 days before it came on TV, and it was on my like guide on my TV, and that was really exciting. I was like, oh, look at me. So that was really exciting. The most disappointing thing about this season was how much time we spent on the drama with Snowflake. It was too much. We filmed so much, and I'm sure anybody in the cast can tell you there were times when we literally were telling production like we don't want to talk about this no more. We don't want to talk about this girl. We don't care. Like we want to let it go. But it's a reality show, and it's like they want to see the drama. They don't want to just see us all holding hands and skipping around the park. People want to see some fussing and yelling, whether they say it like, everybody's like, we want to see a positive show and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay. Every single scene where it was like we weren't arguing, they was like, this scene, they could have did something else with this scene. Like
You
what?
know,
You want me and Monique sitting there talk about our husbands, and you want me to throw a drink in her face? Like for what? Like
but you know what though? That's like the gift and the curse of reality TV, right? Like the audience at this point, like we need positive shows, right? But like if it was nothing but positivity, then they would be like, oh, it's boring. So
yeah.
clearly, but I gotta tell you, I blame y'all. I blame all y'all. All y'all to blame for this. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
It was that dinner at Monique and Chris's house. Y'all at that moment, but to your credit, it set it set off a series of events that
Yeah.
really just, I mean, it was entertaining. Seeing you and Quick get activated was like, oh, now this is a delight. So it gave us an opportunity to see these different layers of you guys that we would not maybe have seen.
Yeah, I don't think the public really has ever seen like that side of us, but there's a part at the table where I'm saying something to Quick and we're just laughing. And I was like, that is the most Quick and Ashley scene ever. There are so many times like we're out or whatever, and I'm just talking shit and he's laughing at me. And like, and it's what we do. Like I'll see something and I'll be like, oh my God, like whatever. And like he finds it funny because I am a fucking comedian. Um, but yeah, that was my 4th time filming. So at film Monique's podcast, Jamie and Arena's party. Then me and Monique had a scene, and then it was the next day, I think, was the dinner. And a few things to clear up about that. At me and Monique's scene, I think it's episode 2, or it might even be 1. Monique is telling me she wants to have a couples dinner. I asked, was Winter going to be there? She said no. It's a couples dinner. Me, yeah, it's a couples dinner. Fast forward, and I hate like stuff like this. If like open production be like, you bitch. While I was getting mic'd up, I'm nosy. I'm looking at all the names on the mics. I knew she was going to be there. So people like, oh, Ashley gave so much attitude when she was there. I was like, A, it's a fucking edit because when she walks in, Quick is across the room with Monique. When they flash to me, Quick is standing beside me. Y'all don't care about that. I understand. Like, great. I think I was making a face when we would talk about the food. It's like Quick cannot fly in 2.6 seconds across the room, but okay. So I was like, I didn't care that this lady was there. Like, it just still didn't make sense, whatever. But when I tell you, and I mean, as you can see, you know, Monique talks a lot. So it's a lot of Monique talking. And then Winter like starts talking. So it was a lot of talking. And at this point, we had a welcome drink. Then we had champagne. And then I had a vodka drink. Quick had to go to work, so he wasn't drinking. I was like, well, pass me yours too. So at this point, when Snowflake said like, oh, you know, he was living in the basement and I'm a relationship coach. And I just was like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm tuned back into this conversation now. Like, what the hell? Like, and I feel like everybody, I remember after it was done, I told the producers like, oh, this girl's going to hate me.
No, that first of all, that again, that whole dinner was so genius. Like, when I say genius, I mean I sometimes feel like I look at myself as like a imaginary producer in my head, and I was like, this is just chaos, and I am living for it because.
And the thing y'all missed, it's so much that was also missing from that. A lot of people talk about like Tasha Neal and how Tasha got cut out. Tasha and I got into it at that same dinner. So it wasn't just Winter.
Wait, about what?
So okay, we did kind of. I don't like that they did this because that was something else that we could have focused on. So at the lake house, when the sex therapist lady is there, and Tasha says that they've been wearing condoms. She said that at the dinner table, at the vegan dinner, and I was like, "What? Y'all wearing condoms?" Y'all got a 21-year-old child. Y'all done told us y'all been together since high school. What? So that's the same delivery that I gave to Winter, I gave to Tasha, and Tasha didn't like it either. And Tasha had words, and she said how she felt about it. At that same dinner when it's me, Tasha, Raina, and they both feel like they didn't like the delivery, I tell them, I get it. Y'all don't know me. I apologize for the delivery being whatever. Let's move on.
They did show her say that, but to the viewer, we thought it was just in reference to what you had said.
Yeah,
to we didn't know it was in reference to what you said to her.
Right, and that's the thing. It's so much context that was left out. So, and yeah, I think Tasha and Winter had filmed together too to talk about what they were upset about. But like I said, at the same thing at the Ocean Prom or wherever we were, with me, Raina, Tasha, and Winter, I told them both like, okay, let's start over. Y'all don't know me, whatever. And from that day forward, Tasha and I were fine.
Okay.
Winter, I left that dinner, that lunch as well, thinking the same thing. Like, okay, let's start over. We're good.
Did you think that did Winter tell the story correctly, or did Monique get it wrong? Because it kind of played out like a game of telephone that I also thought was like
yeah, it definitely came off like a game of telephone. I don't feel like Winter told the story right.
Okay.
We sat at that table at that same lunch, and it was like, I feel like first it was about Raina talking about whatever she had heard, and I was like, yeah, we've all heard rumors, and that was literally like the gist of it. It's like I hear rumors all the time about everybody. And Winter said something like, oh, like you've heard rumors about Quick before. I was like, yeah, I've heard rumors about Quick before. And then it was like, can I order a dessert? It was like on to the next thing. So it wasn't like Ashley was saying that like, I hear rumors about my husband cheating on me all the time and blah, 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 blah. That was not what happened. So when Monique Monique had actually texted me probably the day before my event, like, it's fine for Winter to come, right? And I hadn't told Winter again since we left the Ocean Prop dinner. And literally when we left, I was like, girl, we had talked about other stuff. I was like, I feel like we can get to know each other better. I had not talked to her again. So that's why at the selfie event when Monique was telling her, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about because I haven't talked to her. That's why I keep saying I haven't talked to her. So it had been like a week and a half, 2 weeks probably had passed. in real time because Monique was gone, I think, for 3 weeks.
Hmm.
So I was like, I have not talked to this lady. I thought everything was okay. And I was genuinely like, even so. And so when Monique told it, it's one thing, but then to watch it is something else because it's like, obviously we're not there when they're filming, so we can't see it. So when I'm looking at her and I'm like, all these mannerisms you given, and you was like, and you the streets, and you heard, and like, what streets is you in, girl? Like, I've never seen you in what streets, where? And you know, I was just like, okay, I see the type of person. I see you, girl.
I want to. Well, first, I gotta acknowledge your level of comedy at the it wasn't like the final dinner, but it was the dinner where you were talking to Arena, and Arena's like, "You don't have to see her anymore." And you said, "Well, but here I am seeing her." Like, this is what makes you such great reality TV, because what you say just seems to roll off of the tongue, and the people love it.
I mean, because it's the truth. Like, why are you sitting here telling me? Because literally, what they had shown when Monique came to my book, when I did the photo shoot for my book, I say to Monique, like, I'm good on her. If I see her, I see her. If I don't, I don't. I do not want to be at any dinners with her. I do not want to go out to drinks with her. I said all of this. When Winter, me and Monique had a scene and I left, I said to them, she said her apology. I said, okay, great. We're not friends. We don't have to ever do this again. Bye. Like, and here we are again every fucking week. I'm at a dinner with this motherfucker that I keep saying, it's fine. I just don't want to be around them anymore. So now I'm irritated. Like, and people are at home like, won't you just accept her apology? If you keep saying you don't want to see somebody and then you got to see them every week, like, you are going to be irritated as well.
Please don't ever change. I also want to ask you about there was something at the reunion that when I'm reviewing the show, I had a question about. So there was talk of a toothless man. Okay. I want to know, who is this toothless man? Who was the person that was, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what was said. I don't care about that. I just want to know who was the toothless person that you were referring to. Okay. Give me that bit of information.
So the toothless person that I'm referring to, so let me preface this with, I've never met this man before in my life.
Okay, so you know what we'll do is we'll put the alleged badge.
Allegedly, he's toothless, right? Allegedly. I should have said that on the show too, because you know I went to school for journalism. I know better. Allegedly, he is toothless. So after I think week 2 or 3 of the show airing, Winter and I got into it on social media. I unfollowed her. I don't follow her. I don't know what she's doing on her pages. Someone sends me a clip of a live saying that this man is on there talking about he knows me and Quick, he knows us, all these things. And I was like, I've never met this man a day in my life. I don't know who he is. This is one thing. About a couple of days later, someone calls Quick and was like, hey, is it okay if I give your number out? Because insert name is saying that his girlfriend is at home and she can't eat, she can't sleep. We're like, who is his girlfriend? They're like, oh, she's on your show with y'all, Winter. And like Ashley's fans are online attacking her or something. And we're like, no, don't fucking give him my phone number. Nobody gives, like, fuck him, fuck her, fuck everybody. So then right before we went to LA, Winter was apparently already in LA, and her and this man did a live. So Winter's talking and he like is coming in and out, and he's like rubbing her hair, sniffing her hair, like asking her what type of conditioner she used. Like, just, it's weird. And then he like keeps looking like, so when I saw the video, her live was done, so I couldn't see what the comments were, but I'm guessing she was like reading the comments. So I'm guessing people were like, you know, talking about the show, talking about me. And he's like looking in and out, and he's like, oh. He's like, oh, y'all want to talk about Miss Ashley? And we're just like, stop, don't do that, stop, right? So then he like takes her phone and he's like, yeah, I know these people. I know these people in real life. I've been given Winter ammunition to use against them because I know them in real life. So I asked quick, I'm like, do you know this man? He's like, no. But this is the man that our friend who called us was referring to. So I go to his page. Someone else that has seen these two together told me that he was missing a front tooth. That's where I got the toothless thing from. So when I went to his page, I noticed there were no pictures like this. All the pictures was like that. So I just kind of put two and two together that allegedly.
I even titled my video with the toothless man. We gonna pray that he has them all. Okay.
Guess what? By now, if he didn't, he better now. Because
love to the man. Love to the man. Where do you guys all go from here? Because I know that there's been a lot of stuff happening on social media. Like for season 2, how does this whole situation work with, the cast as it currently stands now?
The cast that was casted as main cast, we all are okay. We talk, we hang out. The friend of the show that bogarted her way on the show, if I was a producer, of course she would be back. Like that, right. She would be. Do I want to film with her? Not really. I don't even know how. I don't know how we could go and move forward. I just honestly don't know, because like I said, we've had moments of apologies, and then it's right after an apology or right before an apology. It's like a bunch of bullshit. But I'm sorry, I apologize. But this. But I'm not that kind of person. I don't know. I think that's more on Monique, because that is her acquaintance or whatever the hell they are. That's on her. Okay. If she wants to film with her. I know you just interviewed Raina. I know how Raina feels about it. So
yes, I now know that as well. Okay. Your book is out right now, right? People can.
So my book is on. It's on.
I can go and buy it.
Yes, you can go buy it. It's on pre-sale right now. It is officially out next month.
Okay, where do I go to get my copy?
So you can get your VIP bundle at AshleyBrittanySilva.com, or you can get the book, the regular book, on Barnes and Nobles, Books A Million, and Amazon.
Ow! Everywhere.
It's not an ebook.
That's why I mentioned. That's why I made sure to mention earlier that this is something that people can actually use and write it. I want people to know that this is something that you can utilize. Not you can read it, but you can also be participatory with it and actually get your thoughts out in it.
Yep. Yeah.
I want to say congratulations to you on that. Are you going to do any type of like launch party or anything like that? Like, I know you did something on the show, but
so that was more of the cover reveal. But when the book actually drops this fall, we're going to have a huge launch party. Maybe it'll be on season 2. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Anything that you want to clear up or promote before we tap out? Because I know, I appreciate your time, because I know you got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying?
So today's a mommy day. But no, I don't really want to clear up anything. It's like, whatever you heard about me, believe that shit.
You know what? Honestly, there is no better finish than that. So with that, Ashley Silva, anytime you want to come back over here, talk to the people, you got something else you want to promote, you hit us up, you let us know, and we're doing it.
Thank you, Richie. I really appreciated it.
Oh, you're welcome. And guys, all of her links will be in the description of this video. So we'll make sure to get that from you, Ashley. And again, thank you for your time. And
thank you.
Listen, do not change.
I won't. That's the funny thing. Carlos says that to me. He's like, once you get big, and don't be letting your managers and your publicists and whatever say whatever. He's like, you better not change.
No, because you gave us what we wanted. So with that being said, Skye Squad, we are out of here. Thank you for tuning in to this video. And Ashley Silva, we will see you next time.
See you.